you go in underdogs and you go in, which is, I think, a rare thing, but it's also what's the worst that could happen. Win and loss does amazing things, and it's just strength by your bench, and the bench is strong. So I think they're going to set themselves up for a long period of time. Wind it up, it's already winded. 10 to 15, I'll be very old by then. Yeah, I think I respect the fact that India is such a big country, such a big following. I've been very fortunate to play well in a couple of games. It's not in my nature, so I guess play it off in a jovial way, and I find it quite funny with some of the stuff that comes out. But in terms of Australia v India or the result or my performance, it doesn't spur me on anymore. I just go out and try and enjoy myself and play well, and I guess I've been put in a position a few times against India over the last 18 months and been able to play well, but on the same side, they've played well against us a few times. So no, I definitely feel that relationship with the fans. It's great coming to Hyderabad. I had a great time last year. It was something that I was had on my radar, especially hugely important to come over to India again and play. I had a taste of it a few years ago, but to be back here and then to play well, it's it's nice to get some fans on my side after some of the performances. But yeah, it's all in good fun, and I really enjoy it.
India in the past, like last two ICC white ball tournaments, they have had dominating wins, even though Australia hold the two biggest ICC titles even then. Looking at that Indian side as an opposition, as somebody who plays regularly against them, is it a scary opposition looking at them, the way they are going, the way they have at least created that white ball setup? What's your opinion, assessment of this Indian team currently and maybe going forward?
They've always been the strongest team. And I feel like that's the games that you want to play well in. You want to play well against the best team. They're going to consistently be the best team. It won't stop. They'll probably continually be playing in the finals of ICC events. So I guess when you get to that stage in an event that if you look past the last four, we've played them in two of those finals, and then they've played in the last two and won. And we've been fortunate enough to play well in a couple of those finals. But you look at those two, Test Championship was probably a little bit different. I felt like we had a really, really good sound team and felt really confident. And then you go to the Indian World Cup, and not in a million years I thought that we were going to find ourselves a chance to be there at that stage. And I guess everything that you go to and look up and their record at that time, they hadn't lost a game. So you go in underdogs and you go in, which is, I think, a rare thing, but it's also what's the worst that could happen. They've been the best team. So I think sometimes you go out there with that naive attitude that nothing can go wrong, really. We win and it's amazing, we lose and it's probably expected, so because of how strong they've been. So I've always gone in those games with no real expectations, no real pressure. It's just another game of cricket. And yeah, unfortunately for India, good or bad, there's a lot of pressure. So I think as opposition, you can feed off that a little bit, and that brings you motivation, knowing that there is a lot of pressure in that change rooms to bring home trophies. It's expected, much like Australia. The Champions Trophy was a little bit quieter in Australia in terms of media, but as soon as you lose, it's bigger. So win and loss does amazing things, and yeah, there's always a lot of pressure in both change rooms, but it's how you deal with that and how you move through that. It's the important part.
Yeah, and nobody would have thought that you would come off a broken finger injury and just take the World Cup away, but that happened.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah. So a follow-up to that question, in your assessment, I may be premature in asking this, but looking at this Indian team, is there any comparison or shades of the start of what Australia did in the 2000s and 2010s with that great Ricky Ponting team? Do you think that's a fair assessment or just a bit premature? Do you see shades of that?
Well, they did it. I guess they were able to do it in every format, and it's probably Test cricket is extremely close. It could go either way. We've seen how close the Border-Gavaskar was. Yeah, I feel like both teams are competing hard for that and where it goes, but definitely in white ball cricket, I think you only got to look at probably who's missing out in that Indian team. Would play in a lot of international teams, so you go by that, and if that team was to change and have a lot of movement, the guys coming in would get the job done. You look at Abby's not playing, and Nitish isn't playing, and Sky's there's so many guys that could play in that team. Yeah, there's so many. Sanjit there. There's so many players that could play in that team and do well. on both batting and bowling. So yeah, it's just strength by your bench, and the bench is strong. So I think they're going to set themselves up for a long period of time. The World Cup next year, the T20 World Cup's here in India, so we're going to have our work cut out there again because they know the conditions so well, and it's such a strong team. But yeah, it's how you deal with all those pressures and whatnot, and that will be the part for India. I think it's just how they can deal with working through those tournaments. If they do, then they're going to find themselves in a lot of finals, and then exciting for India and challenging for everyone else.
Challenging for everyone else, for sure. You talked about BGT. I wanted to ask you this question in terms of the intensity of BGT was quite different. I mean, of course, yes, Australia, you were going all guns out that we need that BGT back. It's been a long time that you have not won. But the environment in itself, you as a player, how did you feel? The banter, the level of cricket, the fiery exchanges, all of it. What was it for you? Not just the winning the BGT or claiming it back, but playing that set with that environment.
Yeah, it was. I was tired by the end of it. It was emotionally draining as much physically. I feel like the media played the biggest role I've played in a series to date. Everything was a storyline. Everything. You go to Perth and all of a sudden we were the worst team ever, and we played well in Adelaide, and all of a sudden where does that leave India, and where does that leave all their gun players, and do they need change, and they just won a test, and then we go to Melbourne. So every game had a storyline. It was never just one play, like someone played well or this team played well this game and we move on. It was, first test is Virat's back and gets 100. The next test he misses out, and it was like, where's he at? And it's just the emotion of it all. For everyone was hard, bar probably Jasprit, who had the series of his life. So I think everyone went ups and downs throughout that series on where they were at, physically, mentally, media and whatnot, bar probably one player who excelled through that whole series. But yeah, it was probably the toughest series that I've played in terms of just the hype around it and each test and the flows of it all, and then the importance on it. I think both teams would expect to win at home. India would expect to win the Border-Gavaskar in India, and we would expect to win at home. And if you can fight as an opposition away team and win a few games and put pressure on the opposition, that's what you're looking for and trying to find cracks. So pleasing that we're able to get the job done, and like you said, it's been a long time between it. So it was a nice moment, a nice achievement, and in such a big series to play well.
Nice. You talked about toughest series that you've been part of. Asking an Australian or an English fan, it's always the Ashes. Again, but the level of cricket that you saw, that you've been seeing in BGT, not just in Australia or India, year on year, that comparison of for an Australian Ashes or a BGT now more valuable, is that even a comparison for you, or is it something that you've thought of?
If you look at the two series, the 19 Ashes in England and the last one were probably the two biggest series I played in, and I still think traditionally the Ashes is going to slightly be bigger, but I think the competition between in the Border-Gavaskar is closing in very, very closely. So that rivalry has been strong. It's been strong for a long period of time. It just needs more tradition, more history, and there's no doubt that there's no reason why it can't match that. I think the intensity is matched, but there's just a different feel with the Ashes coming, and it's been spoken about already for 18 months. We're still a long way away from it. I mean, we're 8 months away from it still, and that's all that mainly England are talking about. But it's mainly that's all that's spoken about right now when we play a game in the Champions Trophy. And what does this mean for the Ashes? It means nothing because it's a one-day game compared to a Test match. So from my side of things, it means absolutely little. But there's always that comparison, and there's not that quite comparison with Australia and India yet. With if we just play the series, what's it mean for when we come to India next time, and all those sort of things. So a lot of comparisons are drawn in games that we play against England. But yeah, give it time. It's the same intensity, it's the same rivalry as such, but just a little bit more tradition with the Ashes.
Nice. One question on the Fab Four: Kohli, Williamson, Root, Smith, all of them somewhere, stepping away from different formats. you were coming up very, young. When you were coming up, we talked about a lot. The FAFO was in a way kind of forming. You had a bit of in and out of the team. Then you found your own thing. If I have to pinpoint one moment, maybe the 2021 happened, the Gaba test. From there on, you have not looked back. But for you as a player, looking back at these four legends of our generation right now, what are the things that you've taken from them, especially you're playing regularly against them, and Smith, of course, your teammate as well. What are things that you've taken from them taking forward in your career?
Yeah, longevity, and then I think all of them have gone about it different ways. So I think Virat's changed a lot in his personal life. Obviously, his fitness and the way he's gone about things, his intensity that he always brings, and that's how he's got to be. And I guess I share a room with Stephen, who is one of the great problem solvers that I've ever seen. The way he bats and able to solve problems and do it on the go, and his work ethic around the way he plays and what he needs, and then the self-confidence in when he finds that he just sort of knows, and he's back in that sort of space at the minute where I feel like he picks the bat up and he can tap it 2 times until he'll tell you you're getting a test 100, and he goes out and does it. So yeah, those are probably the 2 that I've played one with and one against the most. Yeah, it's just the longevity and what they need, and those 2 are probably on the different ends of the spectrum in terms of how they go about things and the intensity they bring, but they've done it for a very long time, so pressure on the next lot that come through to be able to upskill that, but I don't think we'll see sort of 4 players like that again for a long time.
Yeah, could be possibly. And again, premature question, but 10 years, 15 years down the line, when your career is winding up.
Winded up, it's already winded. 10 to 15, I'll be very old by then.
Very old?
Yeah.
But who do you as a player want people to remember you with? Is a lot of people look for stats, a lot of people look for impact, a lot of people look for trophies, but for you as a player, what would be the most satisfying for you if people remember you by this certain thing?
Yeah, that probably. I'm not driven by stats and whatnot, so it's a stat-driven game, and obviously I'd love as many hundreds and the highest average I possibly could get, but yeah, I'd like to think the impact. I think over the last 3 years, it's what did I have brought to the table, and I'd like to think that I've been impactful in games and big games, and that's not going to guarantee it in the future, but yeah, an impact and bring an impact to a team and try and be a bit of a game changer and try and just play the style that the team needed and required. So yeah, hopefully look back and teammates and people that watch the game and dive into the game, hopefully think that was a really good team man and someone that was able to go out and try to impact the game and play it in a style that which was enjoyable, which is what the team needed, and was trying to be able to be as consistent as I possibly could be.